All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the Everything College Football Podcast. It'll be doing a preview and prediction for Big Ten contest between Oregon and Iowa going down Saturday in Week 11. Ducks 6.5-point favorites, 43.5 is the total. 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS from Kinnick Stadium. Get anything started with the Oregon offense against this Iowa defense for Oregon. This is a group coming into this contest hoping that Dante Moore will be at full health, and he should be coming off a bye week. He ended up getting hurt against Wisconsin with a bit of a banged up nose. But he's going to be just fine. There's no real lingering issues with him, and that's great because he's going to be their leader. And he's the best player here on this offense. He's been having a very good season throwing the football, 221 yards per game, 71% completion percentage, 19 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. He had 2 bad ones against Indiana, and that passing attack really stalled out. And I think that's the biggest concern with Oregon is what is the ceiling of this passing attack? I know the next week they bounce back against a poor Rutgers team. They teed off for similar production against Oregon State a few weeks earlier. They looked good against Penn State. It's a relatively impressive secondary, but I just don't know what the overall ceiling is for this Oregon passing attack because they're quite limited at receiver. Coming into the year, they're pretty deep, but as time has went on, you had some injuries, like Evan Stewart. You had some guys get suspended and whatnot. DeCorian Moore, as a true freshman, had to step up immensely. 28 grabs for 443 yards. Kenyon Sadiq at tight end has been very impressive, leads the team with 5 touchdowns. He was very quiet, though, in that game against Indiana, only had a grab against Wisconsin, so his production can be sporadic, but for the most part, he's relatively easily their number 2 target. Gary Bryant, Malik Benson, 2 seniors that have not really been good at their previous destinations, have stepped up this year, combined 7 touchdowns. They both have exactly 277 yards. So those guys have been pretty good for this team. I just don't know what their ceiling truly is. And, with Moore being still a young quarterback, some inconsistencies in play calling, you definitely wonder what they're going to be able to accomplish because in that second half against Indiana, they're just not able to do a whole lot. And they're at home here, and the offense cannot manufacture much, especially in the pass game when it comes to finding big plays. Outside of the one they had in the first quarter or the first half or whatever, not much was there the rest of the game. And now they're going up against an Iowa secondary that's playing out of its mind. I mean, this is a group that just feasts on being able to create turnovers and those short fields, pick sixes. I mean, they have 9 interceptions now. They've had 2 interceptions plus in each of the last 3 games. And you can't turn the ball over against Iowa. This is obviously going to be a big problem for anybody that tries to come into Kinnick Stadium. Indiana barely escaped with a close victory. There's an interception in that game from Mendoza. And I know they've played weaker opponents, Wisconsin, Penn State, Minnesota, but they've absolutely rolled these opponents. Outside of Penn State, that was a close game. It shouldn't have been. The Nittany Lions had a or it was a field goal block touchdown that ended up making that score a lot closer than it truly was. But they're not giving up much at all. This secondary, it's legit. This cover 2 shell under Phil Parker, they're very well coached. They're always in sync. They don't give up many big plays, and they're always in phase with their opponents, regardless of who they're playing. And again, you can ask the Hoosiers about that. These 2 corners, TJ Hall, Deshaun Lee, having really good seasons, playing a lot better than I thought they would as a duo. In the slot, Zach Lutmer, having an elite season in coverage. This guy has not been getting beat a whole lot, limits yards after catch. Xavier Nwakba, veteran safety, having an average year in coverage, but he's been phenomenal against the run. Cohen Ettringer alongside him as well. I mean, again, they're just so well coached by Phil Parker in this defense, and they're just playing at an ultra high level right now where it's hard to do much through the air against this team. And I know they had that game against Rutgers. That's a very good passing attack. They were getting torched in man coverage. But since then, I mean, they've been locked down, right? So, I mean, it's really just a one-off. It's pretty rare when that happens to Iowa. For Oregon, this is a team that's going to want to run the football. It's a very deep running back room, a million different guys. Get touches. I think Jordan Davidson, the freshman, is probably your best one. He has 10 touchdowns, 352 yards. Dyer Hill is a very impressive player. This is a guy that had 82 yards against Penn State, for example. So, I mean, there's a different guy every week. Noah Whittington, when he's healthy, he's really going to be your running back 1 coming off 2 games against Rutgers and Wisconsin of a combined 200 yards. Very deep backfield. I mean, they're like 8 deep here. I mean, there's a lot of guys who get touches, but those are going to be your main guys. Jaden Lamar's had some impressive plays this year as well. Hasn't played the last couple of games, though. But great running back room for Oregon. 237 yards rushing per game. Ran up 400-plus against Rutgers. They were really pissed off after the loss to Indiana. Against the Hoosiers, though, it's the best comparable opponent. They only had 81 rushing in that one. Penn State's probably the second best D-line they saw, and they ran the ball very well in that game. So this is a group I think is very capable of going up against a good opponent and being able to run the football against them, mainly because the interior offensive line has been so dominant. Emmanuel Pregnon, the transfer at left guard, has been tremendous. Alapi Alaulu at center, very good. And then Dave Louie at right guard has also been very stout when it comes to his pass blocking. Maybe not as much in run blocking, but love the interior. Left tackle Isaiah World having a relatively good year. And at right tackle, you have Alex Harkey, who has not given up a sack either. So this is a very good group. It's a physical offensive line. The D line for Iowa is so good. I mean, this is a veteran group. A lot of seniors here: Aaron Graves, Max Llewellyn, Ethan Herkett. These guys are all good. Phenomenal pass rushers, very physical against the run as well. Some of the guys on the interior, like Jonah Pace, Bryce Hawthorne. I mean, they really are tone setters as well. I think Brian Allen's a pretty good reserve pass rusher. I love the D line, another group that's very well coached. The linebackers are skating by. It's a good group. It's not as elite as we've seen in years past. All these guys have been in the program for a long time, and most of them are getting out on the field for their first time this year. Carson Shar at linebacker has been really good against the run. Jaden Harrell, when he's healthy, I don't know the status of his. I'll have to look on that. Jade Montgomery as well, a guy who's been getting forced into action. Well, top to bottom, it's a very good Iowa defense, and you're going to try to come on the road here and put up points, and you just need to protect the football. I mean, you need to grind things out, be patient, and things will typically come to you when you're playing Iowa on the road. That's how you beat them, and I think they have the components to do that. A quarterback, they went into Penn State and had a very good game, was very composed in tough situations, even in overtime when they nearly lost the game. And again, this offensive line's capable of being able to establish the run here. Moving to the other side of things, the Iowa offense on that Duck defense. For the Hawkeyes, this is a group that has always been strange, and it gets stranger by the week, it seems, where this group just does not have any talent. The pass game is not very good, and they continue to just beat the brakes off of opponents, and I'm going to tell you how they do it. So the way Iowa typically works is that they like to run the football, right? But in years past, they've certainly struggled to run the ball. Last year with Caleb Johnson, they were very good at it. This year, they're also very good at it. Kamari Moulton coming back from injury, missed the first couple of weeks, been highly efficient. 5.3 yards per carry this year, 68-plus yards rushing in every single game he's played in this year. Legitimate efficiency. That's very good because you're running behind a very good offensive line that a couple years back really had struggles when it came to size, but they've really focused on this area of their football team, and they've been able to establish some size and experience, and it's paid off big time. Trevor Locke at left tackle, one of the new starters this year, has been great. Bayou Stevens at left guard's elite. Logan Jones at center is just as good. Cade Piper at right guard, and then at right tackle you have Jennings Dunker. This is a legitimate group that has a lot of multi-year starters, and this year it's really paying dividends for them. The passing attack isn't good at all, but Mark Gronowski, what he's been able to do this year for this football team is he's been able to burn opponents with his legs. Picking up first downs, hurting them bad in the red zone. He has a rushing touchdown in every single game this year. He's got 11 total on the season. And sometimes he doesn't have many yards. I mean, there's 3 different games this year where he's held to under 15 yards rushing. But again, he's able to pick up timely first downs. And again, the red zone efficiency has been great for them. And that's why he's been able to burn them. Against Penn State, though, he had 130 yards rushing. So he's capable of picking up some big chunks despite being a very big guy at 235 pounds. The pass game, though, has not been good. 118 yards per game, 4 touchdowns, 4 picks. He takes a lot of coverage sacks. They've yet to find a 200-yard game through the air. They made some big plays against Rutgers, that terrible defense. He's had a lot better efficiency since they entered conference play, though. That's been the big thing for him, right? Iowa does not need big plays. They just need 4 5-yard pickups on early downs, and they're right where they want to be. They don't do anything fancy. They're just fine being towards the bottom in every single category. In terms of pass catchers, I mean, I thought the tight ends would be more involved this year, and they really haven't. It's really just been guys like Jacob Gill, Sam Phillips, Caden Wetjen. Not much production at all. It's not a very impressive receiving group. I do like Reese Vanderzee. He's been nice for them coming back. He'd have a 29-yard touchdown against Minnesota. He's probably going to be their best skilled pass catcher at 6'4", 215. But I love this Iowa offense. You're going up against in terms of what they want to do, right? Obviously, it's not the greatest unit, but in terms of what they like to do, it's just so fun and interesting to watch, and I do love their offensive line. Going up against that Oregon defense, that's great edge rushers. Teo Uyeyungale, Tiatum Tiote. These guys are great. They lead the way for this team. They have some ballers in the middle. Barry Alexander's finally making an impact at the power 4 level. Amari Washington alongside him. These guys have been tremendous run stoppers. This has been a really good run defense. They're able to do pretty good against Indiana, held them to 111 yards. They give up about 100 yards a game, but they never really get slaughtered, and they hold teams in check in terms of ripping off explosives. Great part of their football team. Bryce Bocher's the tone setter in the middle at linebacker. I don't think it's the greatest of linebacking groups in terms of skill. Devon Jackson, Jerry Mixon, I think those guys are quite vulnerable for this team, but Bocher's so good when it comes to defending the run and getting guys set in coverage that you don't feel that weakness. And the defensive line is deeper than the guys I mentioned as well. The secondary, they've not been tested at all. This is a group that's not given up even 1,000 yards yet. I mean, that's a phenomenal mark. 49% opponent completion rating. They've really teed off against weaker opponents. I mean, what they did to Rutgers was ridiculous. 79 yards. 8 completions. I mean, that's a really good passing attack. I'll have to check if Cal Kamanis actually played in that game because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And it looks like he did. Yeah, he's got torn apart. Highly impressive because that's a very good Rutgers passing attack. Indiana had some success, 215 yards, especially in the second half, getting things going. But it wasn't, a complete bludgeoning by any means. This has been a very good secondary, despite breaking in a lot of new young guys. They're not going to have a challenge really here at all. Brandon Finney, Theron Johnson, Ify, Ogbuewu, whoever's on field, they're going to have field day in terms of coverage. Not too much to really worry about there. I just think getting your run fits right, not cheating up too much, and getting out of position. You don't want those running backs to burn you, and then tackling Gronowski in space is going to be the biggest task. Jaden Canady having a great year out of the slot. He's a very good tackler. Dylan Thieneman, a very good center fielder at safety. Love his coverage abilities. And then Aaron Flowers alongside him is having a really good year against the run. So this is a group that's built to do well in a matchup like this. I think that Oregon is going to be in for a very fun challenge, though, because this is a good offensive line, and they're going to test you in terms of physicality. In terms of final analysis and prediction, I want to lean Iowa in this game. I don't know why, but I was wrong about this Iowa team coming into the year. I thought they would win 4 games. Everything would fall out for them. The defense would regress slightly. I thought they'd still be good, but they wouldn't be great like they have been. And the offense has just continued to deliver. And the formula has been very simple. If you're one of these top 10 teams trying to avoid upset coming to Kinnick Stadium, what you do is you don't make mistakes on offense. You be patient. You slow things down. You don't get outplayed on special teams. Then eventually things will start coming to you. Plays will start opening up, and you'll be able to put the game away with a low-scoring affair against Iowa because their defense is so good. And that's how you beat them, right? And for Oregon, are they going to be willing to sacrifice patience here in this game? I'm not sure. How is Iowa going to manufacture offense? They only need like 2 drives. Maybe even one at that if they can make those plays on special teams or on defense. This group is ridiculous. I mean, they are absurd the way they play football. And we can sit here and talk about the opponents they play all you want, but they do this against everybody. Even Indiana had troubles with them significantly. And I think with a week off, they're just going to be teeing off on defense. They're going to make things tough on Dante Moore. They're going to limit the run game. Their offense is going to put themselves in some short yardage situations at least once or twice when it comes to drives to be able to score some points. I think 2017 low score and fair might even be lower than that. I'm going to take Iowa here to get the upset here in the Big Ten. It really put Oregon at a disadvantage. I think the Ducks having a week off also is beneficial to them, but I just got a feeling the Hawkeyes are going to be up for this one, and they're going to be able to, knock off a top-tier team. What they did to Iowa was a little bit more impressive than I thought that they were going to be able to do, and now you're going to be playing a weaker opponent in Oregon, and I think Iowa's going to get the job done. So interesting game here. We'll have to try and dissect the Hawkeyes, though. They're just absurd the way they play football, and it's hard to beat them at their own game. So I'm going to take Hawkeyes. +6.5 is the best bet. Sprinkle on money line if you would like, but that's the bet I'll be taking. That's going to be it for today's episode. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. See you next time.